What's up, everybody? I've got another amazing Bible to show you guys today. This is a new production from Zondervan. It's their premier collection, NASB Preacher's Bible in black goatskin. You got to check this out. All right, welcome back. Let's get right into it. Let's take this thing out of the box and take a look at it. Now, I did do a quick look, like a little 2-minute mini review a few months ago, maybe a couple months ago, and in the midst of trying to get this studio completely fixed up. But it's time for the full thing. So when I got this Bible, I was taken back by how great this leather is. This leather is amazing. It really does have a great feel. And if I never have known ahead of time this was a Chinese printed and bound Bible, I would probably not have guessed it was a Chinese printed and bound Bible. So the spine looks really great, raised ribs. It has this nice kind of minimalistic look to the spine. It's just really a joy to hold. And the back of mine has this weird looking wrinkle, but I actually like that. I think it's really a cool characteristic of this leather, and the fact that the leather already has so much grain, having a wrinkle in here I'm okay with that. Now the perimeter is stitched, so it gives you a feeling that it's a little more secure. Now I will show this. This is one potential problem or flaw, error in the Bible. The text block was not perfectly centered when it was being bound, so my rear cover has a little more overhang, maybe a couple millimeters overhang more than the front cover. So if you could see that, the front cover block meets up right with that interior gilt line, and the back cover overshoots the block by a couple millimeters. It's only a millimeter offset, so if the block is off by 1 millimeter toward the front, it's going to make the back 2 millimeters more than the front. So really, if I was to detach the front and back tabs, slide the block toward the back 1 millimeter, then reattach the tabs, it would even out the cover lengths. But it's not that big of a deal to me because it's only a couple millimeters difference. The cover's still really nice. I don't mind it having a little bit different cover lengths. So now when I open up this edition, it has a really great liner. Like, the liner feels really premium. I mean, really nice. And it has a nice gold gilt line around the interior of the cover. You can see goatskin leather cover imprinted on the bottom of the liner. Here's your tab for the front. Now again, I think Zondervan's done an amazing job between their NIV editions and these newer NASB editions with the color design for these editions. On this NASB Preacher's edition, it's a dual color printing with a really dark red, or more like a crimson red color, and the black printing. On the publication page, it shows it's a 2020 printing, printed in China, and at the top, NASB Preacher's Bible, 1995 translation. And they specifically put 95 translation because we're suspecting that the 2020 NASB translation update will be coming out this year, and they don't want to have any confusion between the different versions of the NASB. Now this edition, as we flip through the preface and the principles of translation and the abbreviations, this edition has the new NASB comfort print font, which I love. I love this font. It is my favorite comfort print font that's been created by 2K Denmark. I even like it more than the Quintel font that Milo font created for Skylar. And this Preacher's Bible layout is just so great. I love the dual column verse by verse format with the verse numbers in red, and you can also see the verse numbers that start new paragraphs. They're going to be in bold red. So it's just a really intuitive layout, easy to follow, easy to read from, easy to preach from. Now this edition does not have any references, and the closest thing I can think of as a potential comparison would be the In Touch, as the Charles Stanley Journaling Bible is essentially a wide margin, dual column, verse by verse. This is not wide margin, but I think this is actually easier to read from. This is a 10-point font on 36 GSM paper, just premium. Also, it might be hard to see from that camera angle, but there is a faint red art gilt. It's really more like a really pale brick red, not that salmon color or just like a really bright geranium red. This is like a really dull brick red, which I love. It makes it look more classic. So you do have some scriptural notes at the bottom of the page on certain pages. And whenever the Old Testament is quoted in the New Testament, it's going to be in all caps. Now, this is a black letter text, and depending on your opinion of that as a good or a bad thing, I actually don't mind one or the other as long as the red letter text is a darker red. But the fact that this is a black letter and the emphasizing second color in this printing is a dark red, I think having it as a red letter would probably not have done the dual color justice. So I'm kind of glad they kept it as a black letter. So at the end of Revelation, we have a few cool little additional indexes that you can use that are really helpful from the pulpit. So you have the miracles of Jesus, the parables of Jesus, you have the perspectives from the Bible, the prayers from the Bible, and then the promises from the Bible. Then after the promises from the Bible, you have a note regarding the type, which explains that this is an NASB comfort print font created by 2K Denmark. And then it just ends. It's so great. It's so great. So why is it great? Why is it great that it just ends? Because it shows how well thought out this preacher's Bible was. The things I want you to take away from this are not just what things are here in this Bible, but what things are not in this Bible. What is needed and what is not needed. It has great paper. It has a small footprint. It's only a little over an inch thick, so it's very portable. It also has a 10-point font, very readable text. It's a verse-by-verse format, dual column to save space, but it also, the things it doesn't have are the things you don't need in the pulpit. You don't need a concordance in the pulpit. You don't need maps in the pulpit. And you really don't even need notes in the pulpit, because this Bible is not a wide margin, so you would have to have notes with this Bible up there. So if you're already going to have notes, there's no need to have a notes section in the Bible. You really don't need it. So this is a really well thought out, well considered preacher's Bible. The folks at Zondervan really thought through what preachers need and what preachers don't need. So guys, if you're looking for an NASB preaching Bible, this is a great option. Also, if you're preaching from this Bible, you can instruct your congregation to get the NASB thin line. So why the thin line? Well, the thin line's got the exact same pagination. So if you're reading from Psalm 95, it's on page 539, then you can tell your congregation exactly what page number to go to. Hey, in your NASB thin line or in your Pew Bible, go to page whatever. So having the thin line and other Pew editions match the pagination of the preacher's Bible really increases the level of communication that the preacher has with his congregation, which that's what the preacher's trying to do anyway. So thank you guys for watching. If you're looking to purchase this Bible, I'll have a link in the description below. Also, check out my Amazon store. I've got links to all my camera equipment and other Bibles that I've reviewed. You can go through there and shop through different translations. Just check it out. Also, if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing to the channel, as well as hitting the notification bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos. And thank you guys again for watching. God bless.